What's up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my all new review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is the first part of the three-part reunion. Let's get into it. The time has come. We finally made it. Everybody arrives at the reunion to get ready. Carlos is doing his daily runaround, asking everybody what's the goal for today. Did y'all see what Miss Wanda had on when she walked in? So he first stops at Tisha Marceau's room. He dances with Miss Wanda, tells her that she's been the most explosive part of the season. But Tisha want to say, oh, no, no, no. No, she hasn't. Go back and watch who's really been the explosive part of the season. Go watching who's really been the start of the drama. He said, who? The one with the Mr. T chain, referring to Melody's outfit when she wore at the Madani event when she got into a Miss Wanda. Tisha don't start. This is where people be looking at you with the jealousy of male energy because you will never put your mother in that predicament of her being wrong without you saying Mel did something first. But in that instinct, Mel did nothing to your mom. She was defending her child. But anyway, he goes to Destiny's dressing room to see how she's feeling. Is she in love? But hold her thought until she's on stage. Then he gets to Martell. Martell was on the phone with Sheree. He gets on the phone, asks about how is she? Is she happy? How is Martell? She said he's a great gentleman, he's a great dad, and that he is nothing like what he is on TV in real life. He ends up saying that she can get a ring for that, for her co-signing with your bullshit that how you are on TV isn't how you are in real life. Okay. Ariana is somewhere drinking herself to a stupor because all she had to say was he's a great guy and he's not like how he is on TV. And how long has he been dating Sheree? And he can tell her she can get a ring for that while Ariane was a peasant for the last 6 years. Interesting. So everybody comes on stage. Carlos looked nice in his suit. Kimmy and Maurice were first. Maurice looked good. Kimmy looked beautiful. Her body was amazing, but I didn't like her hair. Her dress was nice, but I didn't see it fitting reunion. Her shoulders were straight like a curtain pole. Her dress was mesh with lace and she had like beads that had, you know, it proportioned to fit her body. I don't know if she had a trainer or not, but it didn't fit the theme to me. It was dark, it was fantasy, it gave vampire, almost like dominatrix, but it didn't fit the theme to me. But either way, she did look beautiful. What's her name? Tisha and Marceau came on the stage. Marceau looked nice. Tisha looked beautiful. I loved her hair. I loved her outfit. She definitely changed from the orange sickle dress and the hump that she wore last season. Um, Martell came out in his velvet suit. You know, hate on the man, don't like the man. He's a piece of shit, but he sure can dress in a suit. He really needs to do a suit line or something. Connect with one of these tailors that's out there and create a shoe line, create a pants line or something. Then Melody comes out, honey, in her gorgeous intergalactic superstar outfit. I loved her corset. I loved her fish scale dress. Her hair split down the middle, all black, makeup on point. Melody looked amazing. Shut everybody down. And when Carlos introduced her, he introduced her as Melody Cherie. And you hear Martell yelling out, "Ho, boy, sit down. Sit down." She has not used that last name in the last 2 years. Let it go. You were just on the phone with Sheree, how she could get a ring for calling out your bullshit that you're not the same as you are on TV as you are in person. Miss me. And this is why Melody will always go back to he wants to still text me how we're soulmates, we're meant to be together. He does shit like this. Because he's still a trigger for Melody. So with the original six on stage, we don't see Destiny until next week. Will Tiffany and Lewis make an appearance? Nobody knows. And pretty much giving credit that everybody on the stage have created successful businesses while being on the show. You know, Melody's skincare line, Martell's wine, Kimmy and Maurice opening up the first black-owned tile company, Tisha and Marceau's restaurant Black. You know, which is kind of nice. You know, everybody was able to blossom while being on the show. So everybody's clapping for everybody's success except for Melody. because Melly's not feeling the whole, oh yeah, let's clap for everybody, because she said it last year that she's proud of everybody's success. She wants everybody to be good, but they didn't air her saying that. But right now, in this moment, she don't care about nobody but herself. She don't care what they doing. She don't care how they going it. Nope, doesn't bother me. And everybody's taking it back like, damn, where'd that come from? The fact that y'all want to portray as if Melody is shitting on everybody, Melody's looking down upon everybody, as if Melody doesn't want the best for everybody. That's where she's coming from. So Maurice decided to say, I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of everybody last year. I'm proud of everybody this year. Melody clocks that Maurice is being fake, because she said, make sure your actions show it. He said, what if my actions never showing it? I'm proud of you. I was proud of you when I downloaded your songs to get streams, and you were talking about my guy. He's like, what? You downloaded her songs? You know for a fact Martell don't like nobody singing that song that Melody made about him. But when Maurice was explaining what he did to me, he was fumbling. He couldn't get his words right, because he said, I only downloaded your songs to get streams, as if he was doubting that Melody's song wouldn't be popular, wouldn't be a success. Also, how Melody wouldn't be able to bounce back from Martell, wouldn't be able to thrive and evolve without him. Now, I don't know if Marceau was talking about how Maurice couldn't come back as a success from saying that to her, or did he have a doubt that Melody wouldn't have been a success after making that song as well? So, you can miss me, Maurice. So, he goes on, talks about how people on the stage have been a success in spite of this. We have persevered in spite of this. We've done this in spite of this. And Melody is like, okay, sure. Carlos clocks in and say, you think what he says is full of shit? Yes, because Maurice is always giving Martin Luther King speeches. No lie was told. Maurice and Marceau always give the I am a black man living in America speech, because they always go off and on about this, and that, and the third. And it's like, oh my God, please shut up. You love hearing yourself speak. So they want to know, where is this energy coming from? Like, give us some clarification. So Melody opens up about an interview that Maurice and Kimmy did, and she didn't like the fact that Maurice downplayed her and Kimmy's relationship as if we're not friends. So to me, Kimmy came right on in with defending Maurice's words as if he did not mean what he said, but want to say that social media played a part of it, and that certain words were bigger than what they was. His words were distasteful, saying how they were never friends or not friends like that, how they don't hang out, but yet, he still keep in touch with Martell. And then drawing the comparison that many interviews that Melly has done, she doesn't call anybody their friend. She doesn't hang out with them. She's not close with them like that. I don't see how people be upset about that. Y'all were her friends, but throughout the time of y'all being friends, y'all knew that her husband was cheating on her. So of course she still feels away. Of course she's kind of like, I really can't trust y'all for real, for real. And is wondering like what's going on there, to say that you don't consider me a friend. So it hurt her feelings that Maurice would downplay her friendship with Kimmy. So Carlos asked Kimmy, do you believe that you have a real friendship with Melody? She said, who, me? Yes, you. Your name is Kimmy, right? So she does consider Melody a friend, and talks about how Melody checks in with her, sends her flowers, sends her food, sends her referrals. She's shown up as a friend. And you hear Maurice in the background repeating that. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like, what is his business to wonder what my friendship is with her? Me and her are friends. He don't need to be coming in on women's business about us. We ain't never had no issues. We're not going to have any issues. But then it's also coming from the nightcap that she done with Carlos, and she called Maurice the least relevant on the show. So Kimmy wanted to call out Mel by saying she can't keep writing people off for saying things that you don't like. But at the same point in time, though, Kimmy, have you ever stopped your husband from talking about Melody? Because, like I said before, he has talked about Melody as if she's the main drama of the season. She's been the main drama of the show, but never calling out Martell. He called out Miss Wanda, but still wants to put Melody in the middle of all that. So, while that I can understand, because Kimmy and Melody do have a friendship. Of course, they have outside friends, but don't downplay that she's not a real friend to Kimmy. Don't do that. She was checking in on Kimmy when she wasn't even ready to receive anything. So then we talk about Tisha and Marcel's house, Scott Manor, when it's really becoming Neverland and Chateau Scott. Because y'all been at this for the last 3 seasons and we seen nothing but a damn driveway. Like, what is the status of your house? When will it be done at some point? I don't know if Marcel and T trying to cover up the fact that they are not building the house or they don't have the money to build the house or they're trying to hold that for another storyline. But come on now. How long y'all gonna drag out building your home? You know, Mel was able to find a home. Everybody are living in a home and yet you guys are still building your homes. What are y'all doing? Because people are gonna get bored and tired of not hearing the progress of what Scott Manor will be. So then we talk about Tisha, how people tend to underestimate her. She's naive, but she's more than just a wife. She's the majority shareholder of the company Scout. So talking to Martell, how did he feel about being bought out by Tisha? He said it was the worst mistake I ever made. No, it wasn't. It was pretty much the plan the whole time. And before Martell could even complete his thought, Tisha would come and say he should regret because if it wasn't for me, the company wouldn't be where it is today. So I'm just kind of like, Tisha, what are you talking about? Like he should regret because when we bought it from him, pennies of the dollar, it was in the negatives. So it took me to build it up to be the company that it is today, a multi-million-dollar company. But at the same point in time, do you ever want to admit how you got the company in the first place? It was the job and the plan from the beginning to have Martell and Marceau come into the business together. And when Marceau was able to get his own clientele off the ground, then Martell would have been bought out. So it wasn't, to me, Tisha fell flat with trying to flex that she was the one who brought Scope to what it is today. It was off of her. How, if it wasn't for me, it would still be in the negative and we bought it from you when it was nothing. But that was the whole point though. So Martell, who had sense and said that when you're starting a company from the ground up, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna take a good 4 to 5 years for it to be successful. 4 to 5 years for you to make something out of it. That's the whole point of a startup company. So why are you trying to make it seem as if that I was the main reason why the company wasn't what it was? It was never meant to be. It was never meant for me to stay on in the first place. It was y'all company. Y'all not remember how y'all got the company in the first place? Like Tisha and Marcel have an air about themselves as if they've done everything they could to get to where they're at without giving credit where credit is due. So asking Mel, since she was a part of it, what do you know about it? She don't know nothing about the money. She don't know about the numbers. But what she do know is the connections that she had, the connections that she used to get them nice jobs that was good money. That's all she know. Everything after that, she knows nothing about. Okay? So to me, it's reminding me of the first season when Melody and Martell were talking about how they helped them out when Marcel got fired from the movie theater. They had 3 kids, no other car was working. They only had one car, and they helped them out because they already had their company. They was already making money with their company. They want to help y'all out. So then the assets that Marcel wants to talk about, that one of them was having the experience on the job, and that was it. But him, he wanted to say he had a double asset, a builder's license, which was shade towards Martell, and how to run a company. No, 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 Marceau. Let's go back to the beginning. Not only did they have their own company that was making them good money, they brought you guys along so y'all can make your own money. Then when the show got picked up, they added you guys in the fold as well. So don't act like you got here off the strength of you and Tisha. No, no, no. You got here off the strength of Melody and Martell. Okay? I don't care what nobody says. I don't care how y'all feel. They should give credit to Melly and Martell for not only considering them to put them on to make their own money, but to also put them onto the show so they can have more success and create more business. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have thought about to create Black. You wouldn't have thought about creating none of these business. Your chocolate in the bottle, if it wasn't for Melody and Martell. Give credit where credit is due. And how you knew how to run a company. You just got fired from the movie theater. What do you know about how to run a company if you never ran one before? Like, you can miss me with that. So now we get to, how does Marceau feel about working with his wife? He don't. He don't like working with his wife. But he wants to not look like as if he cannot be open-minded with working with his wife. So he has to say certain things where he's not looking like a fool. Tisha wants someone to reach out to them to navigate on how to separate working with your husband, but not letting it come in between your marriage. Okay, well, Tisha, if someone's going to give you the guidelines and the advice of how to separate your marriage from your business, how don't let it interfere. Don't act like you knew the whole time how to do it and shit on the advice that was given, because that's what you did to Melody. Melody helped you out on balancing being a wife, a mother, and a businesswoman, but you act like you knew the whole time how to do it. No, you didn't. The whole blueprint, don't do that this time, teacher. You're asking for help. Please receive it and don't act like you knew the whole time. Don't do that. So then we're asking Marcel about the lawsuit. How's it going? What's been going on? I didn't hear Marcel go into details of what the lawsuit was. He just kept going on about how it was a big deal to him. He was working a lot, creating black, creating other things, and this was during the pandemic. But I did not hear the details of the case. That's what I didn't hear. I heard about how he felt about the case, not the details of the case. Letitia came in defending him as usual by saying it was really hard on him. He worked really hard on the project, and that was one of the reasons why he went to Africa. Like Martell, I was with him. That was the reason why he went to Africa. It took him time away from home to go to Africa. Yes, but he wasn't at the gym, throwing it back at Martell, because Martell would use the ruse of him going to the gym, but he was really going to see Ariana during the pandemic when nothing was open. But to me, to me, it still doesn't make any sense though, Tisha, that you would sit there and make up that statement that he had such a big project that was important to him and it hurt him and he decided to go to Africa of all places to decompress, get his mind right. And you guys were planning to go to Africa as a family. So how could that not affect you? How could that not make you feel like, wow, really? So what did she do when she found out that he went without her? How did she feel? She was upset, but Marcel has a gift of gab. Marcel probably explained it where she couldn't be mad at him for going to Africa by himself, where he doesn't have a reason to explain to her why would he do that, knowing that we wanted to go as a family. It still don't make no sense to me. Why would he go? Out of all places, Africa, 16 hours away. You know how long a flight to Africa is? Different time zones. He don't know nobody. Nobody knows him. You can't call him because y'all in different time zones. Really? It still don't make no sense to me. When Carlos asked Kimmy, he couldn't get the full sentence out before Kimmy said no. She would not allow for Maurice to go to Africa without her because she already know what that's going to lead to. I think that Tisha felt like she was on an island by herself with her being confident, with saying that it's okay that my husband went to Africa without me. He needed it. He needed to, take some time for himself. He could have went to the nearest town. He could have got a hotel, went to the spa, went to the boxing ring or something. He could have went a different way of releasing all the stress upon himself for a job that he really wanted to have, then just going all the way to Africa. That still don't make no sense to me. No matter how Tisha want to say it, no matter how Marcel wants her to say it. So she has no problem defending Marcel, but he feels like, let me be real with you, sis. You are very smart. You got multiple degrees. You are a majority shareholder of a multi-million-dollar company. But in the last 5 years, it's been said that your husband have done things. It's a rumors that he has allegedly had an affair. But, there's something that's got to be, in your mind wondering, is any of this true? But she had a good point. There's no proof. There's no pictures. There's no messages. There's no emails. There's nothing that's obtaining to Marceau cheating, but she has no problem mentioning how Martell got caught cheating and that everything that happened with him and Ariane was exposed all over social media, all over YouTube and everything. But there hasn't been a shred of proof about Marceau. But then he says, Martell said he got about 20 girlfriends. Yeah, but no pictures. And there is the alleged picture of his back. That is not his back. So since there isn't any proof, you don't have a slight inkling that there might have been something inconsistent. There might have been something you don't want to admit to. Come on now. Marceau is nowhere near innocent, but he still plays on that narrative of a man who has been unfaithful, has done some questionable movements in the realm of infidelity. Because throughout this episode, when it came down to Tisha getting questioned about Marceau's alleged cheating, she has no problem mentioning how Melody aired out Martell cheating, how everything that he did was aired out and everything. But I always want Tisha to know that you need to stop doing that. You have no problem mentioning every single thing that Melody and Martell went through when he was caught cheating. But I know she wants to say that Melody wants her to experience the same exact way that she felt when she was, knowing that her husband was cheating and that everything came out. But Melody doesn't want you to live the way that she lives, though, Tisha. Melody's not trying to have you be in her shoes. What she is saying is that you cannot make it seem as if your husband is the best man since sliced bread and that he has no ability to do some foul shit. Because you keep on saying that you've never been through this. You are a woman who've never been through infidelity. I don't know what that's like. But yet, there's been a lot of things circling around your husband, and yet you still don't want to wake up and smell the roses. So how I know Martell and Melody personally, I know they will, put stuff out there. You see what they went through on social media. You see how what happens with them. You see what that, you know what I'm saying? But they've never put out information about you. You know what I'm saying? Anything they receive, they've never said anything about you. And then she wants to say that Martell sent her a message that Marceau has been dating a woman for 4 years. He bought her this. He don't remember that conversation. But then the whole rumor mill. Tisha feels like y'all want me to leave my husband over a rumor. Like there's no proof. But nobody is telling you to leave your husband, Tisha. Nobody is doing that. What they're telling you is, girl, wake up. After everything that Martell has done to you, as you want to say, he's ruined your marriage. He still want to be cool with Martell after the 21 comment. He still wants to be cool with him after the Madani event. He's willing to still do things with Martell that he shouldn't do because he was the one who called out Marcel for cheating, allegedly. So Carlos asked Melody, when you told Tisha that Marcel cheated on her, did you lie? Were you lying? No, she wasn't lying. But she also asked Carlos a question because we've had multiple conversations about certain things. He said, I've never had nobody come up to me that they had information about Marcel cheating. Oh, no, no, no. This was early on in the season, first season, early on, that Melody was on the phone with Carlos and the woman in question was with her. And we had a conversation about Marcel. So now the woman in question that they're talking about is the hairstylist, Alonda, right? Because Tisha chimed in and said that the girl tweeted and she called Tisha. Tisha got the phone records and everything. And that Melly tried to pay her to be on the show. And that she expressed to Tisha that, we were best friends. I cannot believe she would do this. She wanted to offer me $5,000, but I would not have done it. It would have ruined my reputation. And if I was offered more, I would have still done it. So she's telling you that Melly offered money to be on the show. She wouldn't have done it for the money, but if she received more, she would have done it. Repeat what you just said, Tisha. She was offended that she would have received 5,000, but if she would have received more, she would have still been on the show to lie or to say anything. That lets you know that she had no real intention of keeping you, keeping it a buck with you about what's been said if she wants to be on the show. So Melody said, no, that's not what happened. It was a girl trip that was planned. We had a text message of that conversation. I said, if you want to come on the show, explain to you this was years ago because it was old information that she found out. And this was before she even knew Marcel and Tisha. Just say, I didn't know he was married, blah, blah, blah. And she was the one who wanted some money. And Melody tells her it was not my call. Talk to production. I believe Mel. I believe Mel because how is it she's telling you that she wouldn't have done it for 5,000 but would have received more to still come on the show? Now Marcel wants to pipe up and over talk Mel, and I felt like he wants to over talk her to get her to trip up as if she was lying, that her story is not adding up. She can't get her wording right because he was like, how did you know what conversation was about? How did you know? Tell your story right. Tell your story. How do you know? First, they had a conversation about it, and you keep on over talking her, getting her to trip up her words. She was not to deal with you. And she said, listen, I'm not about to argue with legs, hips, and breasts. I'm done. You ever, and I was literally looking like, can't nobody come in and say nothing? Tisha, she just pretty much called your husband a three-piece leg and three-piece wing and a biscuit. A three-piece and a biscuit. Now she called your husband a Popeye's three-piece and a biscuit, and you didn't say nothing? Unless they cut that out, that you did not defend your husband. But girl, you just sat there and let her say that? Interesting. But y'all ever notice that whenever information about Marceau will come out, he tends to overtalk the women, pretty much bulldoze them into being afraid of speaking up. He did the same thing to Kiki at that eating event in Alabama, and now he's doing it to Melody. He sat quiet the whole time while Tisha was defending him with cheating, defending him about going to Africa. But as soon as it's information about him possibly cheating, he wants to now pipe up. Interesting. That's telling. So Carlos, I think, dropped the whole conversation to protect them or to move forward because now he wants to talk about how there was an off-camera meeting about what not to say, what to say. Martell opens up with that Kimmy did not want people to know that Maurice was hanging out at 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's like, what? Why do you not want people to know that Maurice was out at 4 o'clock in the morning? Because it can be misleading to women. Misleading to women how? You saying that women will be searching for Maurice if he's out at 4 a.m.? How about why is he out at 4 a.m.? That's the question for me. What's he doing at 4 a.m.? It's some information about Maurice we keep on learning about. The man had sex with 6 women in one night. Now we find out about the alleged sex parties at Credit One. Is there a name behind these people who are claiming these sex parties? Kimmy said her office was above the credit union and there was no sex parties. Okay, then what was it? Just a man hanging out, playing cards, listening to music? Really? He said, Kimmy, I'm a gay man. I don't know not a man who would hang out after hours listening to Beyonce. That don't make no damn sense. But then she defended the fact that Maurice and Kimmy weren't even together at that time when they were all hanging out at Credit One. How is it that you were not with him, but yet you know for a fact there weren't no sex parties? How you know that? So Kimmy still want to be defending Maurice's character, Maurice's whereabouts, and how Maurice said they're gonna find themselves in a lawsuit if they keep fucking with me. Carlos said that you guys kind of like don't go below the belt. You guys kind of like, have fun shade left and right. Is it fun shade though? Is it really? I think that it's underlying deep hatred shade that they all do, especially Tisha and Marceau. Tisha and Marceau definitely those shade that's deeper than fun shade. And it led to Tisha and Marceau talking about how Melody and Martell would have exposed everything that they knew about them. So Martell was like, bro, listen, you can't say that because us men, know things about each other that we will never expose. So to say that Melody and Martell will put it out there, they said, no, I wouldn't. I don't got nothing to say, and I won't have nothing to say. which is pretty much giving him the code. I would never talk about what we talk about. I would never expose the things about you. And to me, did Tisha catch that? Did Tisha catch that Martell said us men know things about each other that we will never expose? Us men. He's talking about the men on the show, Tisha. You not listening to the signs? He said, I don't have anything to say and I won't have nothing to say. So they asked Martell, is there any truth of the 20 women? Has he been out with any one of the women? Have he been with any women? T said, I'm the one woman. I'm the one woman. He says, I don't know nothing. Pretty much saying he ain't spilling shit. He's on bro code. And I'm like, Tisha, please pay attention to this. Martell couldn't even say, nah, I was exaggerating about the 20 women. He has never cheated on Tisha. Marceau, I have never cheated on Tisha. Nobody would say that. Y'all want to play on these word games, which is Tisha needs to be paying attention. If Martell says he don't know nothing without him just saying there's never been no truth to that, your own husband won't even say nothing. And then how did they ever have an apartment together? Marceau want to say he never owned any property with Martell. Marie said, "Oh no, y'all own Stag Run." What the hell is Stag Run? Yes, you did. No, we didn't. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. No, you did. Whoa. Y'all, I think that Maurice was holding on to that because, last season, Marceau threw him on the bus that he was there in the Atlanta trip. And then he even threw him more on the bus by exposing that picture. So Maurice like, I'm going to get your ass back. Play with me. Because y'all did own a piece of property. But, Kimmy cleaned it up with, it was the property they all own as the comeback group. So coming back from that, all the information that's been spread across the season, Carlos feels like there's some truth to them. There's some truth. You know what I'm saying? You come into your own woman, but I don't think that you are prepared to deal if your husband was to ever be caught cheating, if it was to be found out he was cheating on you. And I don't think she's mentally prepared for that either. She could say she is, but I don't think she is. She says she'll be devastated if she found out that he cheated on her. She built her whole life around him, but she hasn't received anything. She hasn't heard anything. But then it got to the whole Chris Fletcher and the Atlanta situation. She said, well, he saw him for 2 hours and that's it. That was 2 hours earlier in the day, Tisha. He did not see him past those 2 hours. And it was before 4 that he saw Marceau. He didn't see him after that. So hearing that him being around Chris Fletcher or he was in close proximity with Chris Fletcher didn't do nothing. And then this last, like the finale episode, Marceau did not have an alibi of where he was. He just added Chris Fletcher in because he wasn't ready to be questioned. He was tired of being questioned. So you okay with him telling you that he was with Chris Fletcher when he wasn't with Chris Fletcher? Okay. Fine, she gonna stick beside him. If he ever found out he cheated on her 5, 6, 8 years ago, she would deal with him. They would handle the situation quietly because cheating is a non-negotiable in a relationship. It's a deal breaker. But I don't see her leaving. Now, I'm not coming down on her for not leaving, but what I am coming down on her is you need to wake up and know who your husband is. You keep on showcasing how you guys are good, put some motherfucking respect on our marriage, but does your husband put some respect on your marriage? I really am going back to that last episode where he did not have an alibi of where he was in Atlanta and just threw in Chris's name in the mix. I'm still stuck on that. But fine, moving on. We see Miss Wanda and Kiki. I'm going to try to sum this up because this was a lot that was happening. So, Kiki was questioned as to why she was invited to Melly's Christmas party. Melly talked about how she knew her longer than Tisha. They share a mutual best friend, and it was her Christmas party, period. So, finding out that Kiki was invited to the Christmas party and hearing it back from Kimmy that the whole party was talked about Tisha and her marriage, that was not the case. Why did Melly bring Kiki onto the show? Well, Kiki and I have had conversations about Tisha, and I wanted her to come onto the show to talk about how her past experiences with Tisha has been, because we went through the same things. So if she is sharing the same similarities of how I went through with Tisha, she can come on and tell her story, right? And Marcel says something to the guys that are bringing someone on the show to come at somebody, and Melody says, "But you brought somebody on the show to come at me," meaning Mark. So this when Tisha want to say, "Oh no, 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 we're talking about Kiki right now. We're talking about Kiki. Okay, well let's keep it about Kiki. Okay, tell your husband shut the fuck up. How about that?" So they go back and forth, and then Tisha says, "Kiki, do you remember Mel saying that she had somebody in the courthouse to pull me and Marcel's records?" Kiki didn't know about no records being pulled. Neither did Mel. And if it's public knowledge that you guys got mugshots and records, anybody could pull those up. Tisha, do you not realize that not that Mel is not the sole perpetrator of everything? She doesn't play avatar on a YouTube channel. She doesn't, fake put up fake pages that's designated towards you to bring about your issues or your secrets. Majority of everybody who watches the show, review the show, have received information about everybody on the show. So it's not just directed towards male when everybody who watches the show, review the show, are receiving information. And if you got a public record, that could easily be found. So she calls Kiki a puppet, and you want to be a puppet? Be a puppet. And this is when Tisha has to get up and walk off. So with the information that was heard, it was about a car accident that Marceau had that Kiki and Melody were talking about. Was Melody fishing for information and wanting to know what kind of car he drove? So then we see Tisha come back in with these two puppets. Two puppets in pajamas. One was Kiki, one was Melody. And it was Melody's old blonde hair from the first season. And I'm just kind of like, did you and Marcel practice this before y'all came on stage? Because this seems so fake. It seems so forced. It seems so staged. It's giving props from RHOA. And it didn't land for me. Tisha, what did you think this was supposed to be doing? I found it childish. Like Melody said, bring some kids in for her. So like this is crazy. So with the car accident that Marceau got into it, Marceau want to say that Melody was doubting that he couldn't afford a really good car, that he was broke. But wasn't this the same car you crashed when you were heading out to the campsite with the other men, but you did not want Tisha to know you crashed, and you wanted someone else to come and get you, and you didn't even show up to the campsite. I think I reviewed that season, and I thought it was kind of interesting that you would drive your foreign car on a dirt road where you had a truck that was designed to handle dirt bumpy roads. I don't know. It was kind of like who was in the car with you that you did not want nobody to know, allegedly. And how who was saying that you broke, Marceau? You just said to Courtney that you made 17 million. Fine. So Melly don't have time to be asking people what kind of car they drive. She don't got she don't play those types of games. Miss me. And then it's appearing that Kiki is a double agent. How she is telling Melly things, she's telling Tisha things. I think that Kiki felt like if y'all were friends once upon a time, y'all had conversations. I've known her long. We've had conversations. So I figure I can have the same conversation with both of y'all without it being messy, without it being like I'm telling each other's business, because y'all were friends. But maybe Kiki shouldn't have been so open and honest and transparent as she tried to be with being friends with both of them. But she wanted Tisha to know that her relationship with Melody wasn't about to threaten her relationship with Tisha. Now we talk about their competitiveness, how they've been close like sisters ever since they were 13 years old, all through high school and college. And she says that Kiki has a smart mouth on her, and they always find a way to get back to one another. She is not the only one with a smart mouth, Tisha. You have a smart mouth too. Don't do that. Then, how she wants to call Kiki a puppet. I'm not a puppet. The old you, no, the old, the new, and the present. I am not nobody's puppet. But you came and talk about my marriage. This is the thing, though, Tisha. You're on a reality show where things about your life will be talked about. But it wasn't a whole season dedicated to your marriage, though. And Kiki didn't say anything to throw any light to your situation. So she felt like she was trying to hurt her. You thought I was trying to hurt you? Yes, I do. Really? No, Tisha, I wasn't trying to hurt you. So when it came down to Melody asking Kiki about did she have any doubts in her marriage, Kiki had a pause because she wanted to say something without saying what happened between Tisha and Marceau. Like, did she deal with rumors of infidelity? What were the rumors of infidelity? And Tisha kept on talking about, you kept on talking about my marriage when you knew what I was going through. Again, Tisha, what were you going through? Give me details. If you've never had any history or have had any, you know, situation that dealt with infidelity, then what did you go through? What were they? You know what I'm saying? So asking Kiki more than one, was any rumors of infidelity? Oh, did she ever talk to you about infidelity in her marriage? She said no. Has she ever spoken about having an inclination that she was dealing with infidelity? Again, Kiki is trying to answer without answering what Tisha went through. But again, what did Tisha go through? So she ended up saying yes, but wanted to say, like any woman, she has doubts in her marriage. No, Kiki, did she have any doubts in her marriage regarding infidelity? Yes. Now Tisha wants to come up and say she found a picture of a girl in Marceau's phone. I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If you're saying that you've never had any doubts of infidelity, you never dealt with anything regarding infidelity, you're now saying that you found a picture of Marceau's phone, and it was a naked picture of a woman in his phone. So you just gave validity to what Kiki said. Y'all have had conversation about infidelity. Now it might have been an affair, it might have been cheating, but finding a naked picture on your phone, that's still problematic to me. So it's circulating back to these rumors that's been in your marriage. So you have had doubts. And we're now seeing the doubts. I think at some point Tisha couldn't talk herself out of not answering this. She had to answer it. Because that's how Tisha and Marceau are. They want to act like they've overcome things. They move on from things. But yet, season after season, we're seeing how you guys have not overcome things. You guys have not talked about things. Right now, you guys have to talk about things. I was not mad at the line of questioning that Carlos gave them because y'all got out scot-free last season. Last season was supposed to be about finding out what's going on in y'all marriage, but it kept going on about Melly and Martell. This time, y'all not escaping any questions about y'all marriage, any questions regarding your relationship, anything. Y'all not escaping nothing. Now, when it came down to trying to get Kiki to admit, Wanda in the background saying tell the truth. Oh, between Kiki and Wanda next episode, I want Wanda to tell the truth as well. But the first part was good. I enjoyed it. I liked it as well. But y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for next video, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.